Good morning everyone. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GK Today Academy app. You can attempt the quiz in this app and you can read detailed explanation. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description box. We have started a new channel, Civils Academy. You can subscribe to it if you find it relevant. Now, you can purchase our hard copy of this current affairs MCQ series, and this is the website from where you can order. It is gktbooks.com. Now, on regular basis, I get two most common questions. First, is it necessary to buy this ebook series or is it necessary to buy these hard copy books? So, if you are a regular follower of this video series and if you are revising it properly, please note I mentioned two conditions. If you are a regular follower and if you are revising it properly, you need not to buy anything else. Everything is covered in these videos. All you have to do is to revise it frequently. Now, because of certain circumstances, if you are not able to watch these videos or if you are not able to revise the content of these videos, then you can go for the above mentioned methods. But if you are a regular follower of this series, I'm talking about video series, then you need not to purchase anything and you need not to spend even 1 rupee. This thing is clear. Okay, now let's start. Where is the headquarters of IPU, that is Inter-Parliamentary Union? So first thing first, the headquarters of IPU is in Geneva in Switzerland, and it was founded in 1889. Objective is to promote peace through parliamentary diplomacy and dialogue. Recently, why it was in news? It was in news because of its president. Who is president of IPU? He is Mr. Duarte Pacheco. So he is from Portugal. So recently he was on visit of India, and that is why this IPU was in news. So the headquarters is in Geneva in Switzerland, and the chief of IPU is Duarte Pacheco. He is from Portugal. Capital of Portugal is Lisbon. In fact, present UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is also from Portugal. So recently IPU president visited New Delhi. He witnessed the proceedings of Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is considered as the upper house of our parliament. Lok Sabha is the lower house of parliament. Now coming back to Secretary General. So Antonio Guterres is the Secretary General. Recently, one more personality was in news in the context of United Nations Secretary General, and she is Aurora Akanksha. Actually is Aurora Akanksha. So she is an audit coordinator in UNDP. Why she was in news? Recently, she announced that she is going to run for the post of Secretary General, and that's why she started a campaign as well. The name of campaign was Aurora for SG. SG stands for Secretary General. So this was the entire issue. The first National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research was established in which state? So it was established in Punjab and it was in Mohali. This was established through National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research Act of 1998. So this act was enacted to declare this institute as an institute of national importance. So why this entire issue was in news? Because recently a bill was introduced in Lok Sabha to provide the national importance status to 6 institutions related to pharmaceutical sector. These institutions are in Ahmedabad, Guwahati, Hajipur, Hyderabad, Kolkata and Raebareli. Now this pharma sector is under Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizer. Present Chemical and Fertilizer Ministry is D.V. Sadanand Gowda. So recently he introduced a bill to provide the national importance tag to these 6 institutions. Name of bill is National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research Amendment Bill of 2021. The Mines and Mineral Amendment Bill of 2021 seeks to empower central government to issue directions to DMF. The question is, what is DMF? So DMF stands for District Mineral Foundation. So recently a bill was introduced in Lok Sabha. Bill is Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Amendment Bill of 2021. It seeks to amend this Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act of 1957. Now, first thing first, this bill seeks to remove the distinction between captive and merchant mines. I'll explain these terms in a while. And this bill also empowers the central government to issue the directions on the composition and utilization of funds maintained by the District Mineral Foundation. Before that, let me explain its background. So, our resource-rich areas, that means areas where natural resources are found. The problem with these areas is that even though natural resources are found in these areas, they are still underdeveloped. So that is why government had constituted a district mineral foundation. Objective was that if you are exploring natural resources from these areas, then you should utilize some of the money from those natural resources for the development of that particular area. That is why this district mineral foundation was constituted. Now, recently this bill was introduced, and this bill empowered the central government to issue directions on the composition and utilization of funds maintained by the DMF. That means for what purpose this DMF can be utilized. Let me just give you one example. Suppose it is allowed that this DMF can be used for the development of school infrastructure in those areas where natural resources are found, so that quality education can be provided to the people of that area. Similarly, it can be utilized for different purpose. This was just one example. Now, coming back to this captive mining and merchant mining. Captive mining means for some specific purpose or for self-use. On the other hand, merchant mining means merchant is related to commerce. So it is for commercial. Now suppose this is area ABC. Coal reserves were found in this area. Now if captive mining is allowed, that means this coal will be used for specific purpose only. Suppose this mining was allowed only for purpose of electricity. It means this coal which is extracted from this area will be used only for electricity generation. It cannot be used for any other purpose. So here the end use is specified. End use means the final purpose for which this is going to be utilized. This is one example of captive mining. On the other hand, merchant mining means commercial. So in this case, there is no end use restriction. That means you extract the coal from here and you can sell it to anyone who need it. In case of captive, you can sell it only to those who are going to utilize it for electricity generation. Again, here end use is specified. Now, this bill which was introduced in Lok Sabha specify that the mines which were allocated for captive mining, even they can sell these resources, but there are certain conditions. First condition is that they have met their own requirement, so their own demands are fulfilled. Now they can sell up to 50% of their production. This was the entire story. MPLADS fund has been suspended till which year due to COVID-19 pandemic. So this fund has been suspended till 2022. What is MPLADS? It is Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme. So no new MPLADS fund will be allocated for this year and for the next year because of COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the nodal authority for this fund is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So under this fund, members of parliament get 5 crore rupees per annum to spend in their constituency for the developmental work. Now, the Lok Sabha member are going to spend it in their own constituency. Rajya Sabha members can spend it or can recommend this work in one or more district of the state from which the member has been elected. Nominated members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Nominated members of parliament can recommend the work in one or more district anywhere in the country. So Lok Sabha members are going to spend it for the work in their own constituency. Rajya Sabha members are going to spend it for the work in any constituency of the state from where they were elected. Nominated members can recommend the work in any constituency. Now you might have noticed there are a lot of questions related to bills and acts because these bills were introduced or passed in the parliament. That's why they were in news. What is the initial paid up capital of DFI, that is Development Financial Institution, to be set up by Union Government? So the amount is 20,000 crore. Recently, the cabinet has cleared a bill to set up DFI. So as the name suggests, it is Development Financial Institution. That means it is going to provide the finance facility for the developmental projects in our country. So the government is going to provide 5,000 crore rupees as grants to this institution. The initial paid up capital is going to be 20,000 crore. And as per the expectations, this DFI is expected to mobilize around 3 trillion in the upcoming years. Why? So that it can finance the infrastructure projects. Now, one important aspect for your exam is that this DFI will be a government owned entity initially. Initially, it is going to be a government owned entity. Later, the government stakes will be brought down as low as 26%. This is the lower limit. That means initially it is going to be 100% government owned. Then government is going to dilute its ownership in this institution and it will be brought down to 26%, but not below that. Which organization released the Asia and the Pacific SDG Progress Report? What is SDG? It is Sustainable Development Goals. So this report has been released by ESCAP. What is ESCAP? It is Economic and Social Commission for Asia and Pacific, and it is associated with United Nations. So recently it released a report, Asia and Pacific SDG Progress Report. SDG stands for Sustainable Development Goals. So there are total 17 SDG, 169 targets, and the objective is to achieve these goals by 2030. Actually, the time period is from 2015 to 2030. Now, to track the progress of Sustainable Development Goals in our country, Niti Aayog released SDG India Index. These Sustainable Development Goals are included in UN resolution, and this UN resolution is known as 2030 Agenda. So, 2030 Agenda is related to which field? It is related to Sustainable Development Goals. It is also known as 2030 Agenda or Agenda 2030. The headquarters of this UN ESCAP is in Bangkok, and Bangkok is in Thailand. Now, in this context, answer in comment box which institution was set up through Bangkok Declaration. Which ministry has moved the National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill 2021 in the Lok Sabha? So this has been done by MHA, that is Ministry of Home Affairs. So this bill seeks to redefine the meaning of Government of Delhi as LG of Delhi. This bill seeks to give discretionary powers to the LG of Delhi in aspects in which the Legislative Assembly of Delhi is empowered to make laws. See, there are two key players in Delhi. One is LG, that is Lieutenant Governor. One is Chief Minister and Council of Ministers. Council of Ministers is headed by Chief Minister. Now, this bill seeks to provide powers, more powers to LG in certain areas, and that is why it has become a matter of political tussle. Now please note that Delhi is a union territory with the legislature. So it is a special case of union territory. It is not a state. It is not a normal union territory because it has legislative assembly. So far we have legislative assembly in 3 union territories. One union territory is Delhi, another is Puducherry, and third is Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. This Union Territory of Delhi was established in 1991 in accordance with the Article 239 AA of Indian Constitution, and this was done through 69th Constitutional Amendment. So please remember the article as well as the Constitutional Amendment Act. Article is 239 AA, amendment is 69th Constitutional Amendment Act. So as per the law, the Legislative Assembly of Delhi has the powers to make laws excluding these subjects. What are these subjects? These are police, public order, and land. So on these 3 topics, or on these 3 areas, Delhi government is not empowered to make laws. These are under the domain of LG, that means under the domain of central government. The NGT has set up a 12-member committee on prevention of unscientific mining in which state of India. So first thing first, there is a concept of rat mining or rat hole mining. As you can see in the picture, these are small holes, and in these holes people enter to extract coal. Now this is totally unsafe way of coal extraction. Usually these holes are very small, that is why children are employed to extract coal, because they are small so they can easily enter into these pits. Now this is very unscientific way of mining and this is very unsafe. That is why there is a problem. In fact, the problem is so serious that Meghalaya government had banned this type of mining. However, even after the ban, this is still prevalent. That is why NGT, that is National Green Tribunal, has formed a 12-member committee for the prevention of this unregulated mining that is practiced in the state of Meghalaya. So, couple of important points are: first, what is rat hole mining? Second, what is NGT? NGT is National Green Tribunal. It is a statutory body. Answer in comment box under which act this body has been constituted. So it is a statutory body. It has formed a 12-member committee for the prevention of unscientific rat hole mining in the state of Meghalaya. Who is the current chairperson of NGT? He is Justice Adarsh Kumar Goel. So this oversight committee will be headed by the Additional Secretary of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So just to confuse you, they can give the options that Environment Minister is going to be the chairperson or any other personality, but the chairperson of this oversight committee is going to be the Additional Secretary of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Usually in state PCS, questions of this level are asked. In other exams, they are not going to ask too much details about this. Which state has topped in employment generation under MGNREGA during 2020-21? So Rajasthan was on top position in terms of employment generated as a part of MGNREGA. What is MGNREGA? It is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. So as a part of this scheme, the employment opportunities are provided for unskilled work. Please note, it is for unskilled work. That means it is for manual labor. So recently, this entire issue was in news because as per the latest report, India has generated 366 crore person days of work under MGNREGA. Now this is highest ever. So why it is highest ever? Because of Corona lockdown, a lot of people lost their employment opportunities, and that is why they were forced to do the manual labor or manual work for their livelihood. So that is why highest employment was generated under this scheme, because more and more people worked as a part of this initiative. In terms of state, Rajasthan was on top position as it has generated the highest number of employment as a part of this scheme, and it was followed by West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Recently, Rajasthan was also in news because of M-SAND policy. Answer in comment box what is the objective of this policy. So these were the most important questions. Now we are going to cover important news events. So first is parcel management system. So this is a system related to Indian Railways. Why it was in news? Because now it has been extended to 523 new locations. Previously it was available only for 84 locations. Number is not that much significant, but you should know that this parcel management system is a system associated with Indian Railways. Next is My Life in Full, Work, Family and Our Future. So this is a memo of Indra Nooyi, and she is the former CEO of PepsiCo. Next is India's first elevated urban expressway. So recently, Road Transport Minister announced that this is going to be completed by 2022, and it is in one state and one union territory. So some portion is in Haryana and some portion is in Delhi. So it connects Dwarka in Delhi to Gurugram in Haryana. In fact, the headquarters of ISA, that is International Solar Alliance, is in Gurugram in Haryana in Gwal Pahadi. Recently ISA was in news because Italy joined. Next is Sarath Kamal. So recently Sarath Kamal became the first Indian paddler to qualify for Tokyo Olympics. First Indian paddler. Next is world's largest floating solar farms. So these are going to be in Singapore. Next is Sahi Disha campaign. Sahi Disha stands for right direction. So this campaign was in news. It is a campaign related to UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program. This campaign has been launched to celebrate the women's livelihood in rural India. Next is Operation Sankalp. So recently this Operation Sankalp was in news as navies of India and Bahrain conducted PASAX exercise as a part of this Sankalp operation, and this exercise was conducted in Persian Gulf. From Indian side, INS Talwar took part in this. Next is John Magufuli. So he was the president of Tanzania. He passed away recently. Now Samia Hassan Suluhu is going to be the next president, and she is going to be the first female president of Tanzania. Actually, she is the first female vice president as well. Now she is going to be the first female president of Tanzania. Next is Ajinkya Rahane. So cricketer Ajinkya Rahane was in news as he has been appointed as the brand ambassador of Neo Growth. Apart from that, recently one more news was related to cricket. So recently Pakistani cricketer Shoaib Akhtar was in news. He is popularly known as Rawalpindi Express. So why he was in news? Because KRL Stadium in Pakistan in Rawalpindi has been renamed after him. Next is IQ Air. So we had already covered this topic in last lecture, and in that I had specifically mentioned that Hotan in China is the world's most polluted city and Ghaziabad is the second most polluted. In India, it is the most polluted. Now problem is that some students read half information and started commenting that New Delhi is the most polluted city. No, New Delhi is not the most polluted city. It is the most polluted capital city. Please understand the difference. If the question is about capital, then only New Delhi is going to be the answer. Otherwise, Ghaziabad is the most polluted city as per this index. New Delhi is, I think, on 9th or 10th position. So please check that. Next is new middle class. So recently, Hurun released a report. And in this report, they have specified a new category of new middle class. So what is so special about this middle class? This new category has an average saving of rupee 20 lakh per annum, and their major assets are physical assets like land, housing, property or something like that. Next is Guru Chamnecheri. So recently he passed away and he was a master of Kathakali. Next is Lakshman Rai. So he also passed away recently and he was renowned painter from Goa. Guru Chamnecheri was from Kerala. So these were the most important questions and news events. Thank you, and that's all for